So we've looked at methods of calculating the trade area, and now I'm going to go through some examples. And this example is from another state. It's not from this state. And I will avoid telling you what city it is because I am videotaping it. And I don't want to cast dispersion on the innocent or the guilty in this case. And so this is a situation. There was an auto dealership, and this fellow special, he sold used cars, a used car salesman. And his dealership was at the base of a freeway off-ramp. And people would, and it was right in downtown somewhere. And people then, and it was a small dealership, it's like a half an acre. And you would come down this off-ramp, and then there was a light at the bottom of the off-ramp, and then you would be sitting there in your car, staring at this guy's dealership, that you're either going to turn left or right. And so the state of somewhere said, we want to expand the freeway off-ramp, and we are taking your property by eminent domain. He said, fine, just give me a fair price for it. And they offered the guy $110,000. Well, you can't buy half an acre for $110,000 downtown anywhere, USA, of any sizable town, I mean, including Gainesville. So he knew immediately this was not a correct valuation. So he said, well, this is, and he said, no, I have particular unique, and this is point of entry for somebody like me. The argument was, we have unique location value, and you are not capturing that location value in your appraisal. Now, in this state, which is uniform, these are the uniform standards of the Appraisal Institute, it says that you're going to give the person that there's a taking underway a fair market value for the amount of money that the willing seller and willing buyer, this is straight from the code, and you must consider every element that a buyer would consider before making the purchase, and that includes location value. And you should take in consideration, it's written there in the Appraisal Institute, the appraisal, and it's also written in the state codes. From that is that you must take into consideration the location. Okay, that's me. I am dealing with the science of location here. The surrounding area, the quality of the conditions, and so forth. So we're going to focus on that, and you must assemble as much information from the market that is available. So you can't be expected to assemble data that doesn't exist or that you don't have access to. But if a reasonable person can go out and get the data, then you darn well better use that in your appraisal. And if you don't, then your appraisal can be challenged and was in court. So if you have memorized all the river systems of all the cities in the country, then you immediately know where this is. And if you haven't, that's good. So don't say where it is. Okay, so what I have here is I'm using the property assessment database for this town. And what I did is all that property that was zoned for automobile dealers is shaded in red here. And the subject property is up there. And it's between these dealerships. Here's a little tiny used car dealership. And he's got a new car dealership, a big new car, Chevrolet dealership. And he's got another big dealership up there. And he's right in the middle. Immediately as a geographer, I'm thinking, okay, location. Let's think about the geography of a mall anywhere. You've got your anchor store and your anchor store, your destination retail. And then you've got, your food court. Now, where is your rents as a mall owner going to be highest? Are you going to get more money from Sears or, from around the center of the area? How many say Sears? Oh, yeah, because okay. Why do you say down in the center of it? Okay, a couple of you brave souls are saying, yeah, it's this one. Well, it's the center. In fact, when Oaks Mall was built, Alan Squitieri comes to town. He gives the pad for Sears and Penny's and the big destination, and he'll say, I'll build to suit. I want you. And so what he's doing is he's buying their trade area. And then the smaller stores that are in between, as the pedestrians walk between Sears and Penny to comparison shop, then they'll walk by the Hallmark card store And they'll walk 10 feet over there and they'll say, oh yeah, well, yeah, I need to send a birthday card to grandma and grandpa. So then they'll walk over there because they have to be going by. But what brought them 30 miles into the mall was Sears or Penny's. So we've got the same thing going on here, but not in an administrative framework. We have people coming in to this town to look at these big dealerships that spend a lot of money on advertising at either end. And this guy's right in the center, at the bottom of the freeway exit, okay? I mean, what could be sweeter than that for location value? And then, well, they said, well, it's about traffic volume count. Well, it is somewhat, but it's also about quality of eyeballs. It's not just people going by at 65 miles an hour on the freeway. Because here, what I was able to do with GIS technology was to get the data from the State Department of Transportation that they have on traffic volume count. And I then have the latitude longitude coordinate of every automobile dealership, new and used, in the whole area there. And then because I know the spatial relationship between them, try this in a spreadsheet software program, because I know the spatial relationship of the dealers to where the traffic volume count was taken, and I know from sales tax data what their sales are, then I say, well, okay, well, there's certainly a whole range of sales. So it's not just traffic volume count. It's, it could be quality of eyeball count. If you go by at 65 miles an hour, that's maybe a high traffic volume count. That's a whole lot different than having a high traffic volume count where you're sitting there for 2 minutes at the stoplight looking straight ahead at the car dealership. Different quality of eyeballs.